Hello and welcome. This is JUS 370A online for pre-session. My name is Dr. Deborah Kaye, and I would like to introduce myself to you. I'd like to tell you a little bit about me, and I'd like to tell you a little about the course that you're going to be involved in these next 3 weeks. For today, Monday, May the 18th, I just want you to become familiar with your textbooks, and I'm going to be loading up the site and building the site with the assignments and the lectures that you'll need for the next 3 weeks. Today really is a day where I just like to tell you about myself. I'd like to tell you about the course, and I'd like you to feel free to ask any questions you might have once the syllabus is up. And I'd also like you to introduce yourselves to me and to each other. This is very important because on an online class, we don't really get a chance to get to know each other well. So you'll see that the things that I do a lot of video components. I do a lot of video lectures, and I try to engage myself with you as much as I possibly can because I want you to feel that I am teaching you face to face. Again, my name is Dr. Deborah Kaye. I've been teaching at the university now for many, many years, probably 25 plus years, and I have really found that there are some wonderful opportunities recently that have emerged in online education. Now, many of you may have taken online classes before. If you have, that's great. If you haven't taken an online class before, this is a great time to kind of get to know what it means to take an online class. And I'm going to try to explain those things to you and explain to you how you can succeed in an online course because after all, this is a different pace because it's pre-session and we're knocking out a uh, semester course in 3 weeks, and that's of course quite that itself is quite a mission. That's number one. But mainly, I want to impress upon you uh, what it's like to be really working in an online class and being successful in an online class. More than anything else, it means uh, engaging every day with the course, making sure that you look in multiple places. Not all professors necessarily are going to contact you uh, maybe the way that you would think they would. So in some ways, when you're taking an online class, if you're taking an online class of someone who is going to make information available to you everywhere, that's great. But there are many professors that don't do that. There are many professors that just will write an email or put something somewhere on the course site, and you have to be kind of like the investigator. What does this say? I won't do that. I'm going to, if I have something important to tell you, I will email it to you. I will put it on our homepage, and I will also possibly do something like this, also do some kind of video explanation of, of what I want you to know. Uh, it's important for you to know where to get the information on an online class. Uh, we are only human beings that put these classes together, and sometimes they might not be as organized or they might not be as user-friendly as you would like. So where the films and the videos and lectures might be, I want to make sure that they are set up so that you know where they are and When you need to watch a lecture, you need to do something, you know just where to go in order to do that. A class like this also requires that there are discussions. Discussions are an important part of online education. It's the way in which we can interact. So discussions will be a part of this class. Uh, there will be certainly some test taking, like quizzes. There will also be some essays that you'll write, and you'll see that when I put up the syllabus, which I'll be doing within the next 24 hours. But in the meantime, uh, uh, be aware. The main thing is to be aware that you have to check in every day. Uh, if you miss a day checking in on a pre-session class or an online class, I assure you, you're not going to end up with probably the grade you want in the class. The only way is to keep up. So I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to keep up in every way that you can, and I'm sure that you will. Now, let's talk a little bit about the subject material for this course. This is a course in modern Jewish history. And I'd like to talk to you about that now a little bit. Excuse me, I'm just going to take a quick little drink here because I have a dry throat. Sorry about that. Modern Jewish history is um, is begins pretty much with the era of the French Revolution. The reason we begin with the French Revolutionary era, and you'll see that, and just a little bit before, we have just the era that just is like kind of the eve of the French Revolution, the 18th century, and then leading up to the rights of man. And that's because uh, when we study Jewish history, we're studying about how the Jews get their rights like other people. Jews did not have rights like others. They were pretty much second-class citizens throughout history. In some cases, they were just temporary citizens, and we'll learn more about that. However, the point that I want to make to you, the important point, is that the uh, the Jewish emancipation, getting Jewish rights, is one of the most important aspects of modern Jewish history. So in this class, we're going to be learning uh, how Jews become integrated into society and become equals to others in society. So we'll be learning about European culture, we're learning about different movements, the movements of nationalism, and the movements of liberalism. And we'll see how those different movements influence and impact uh, the life and experience of Jews and their communities. Now, also, we're going to move beyond Jewish emancipation, and we're going to be studying the 18th century, 19th century, and then move into the 20th century. In the 20th century, there are, of course, a number of different important movements that are emerging within Jewish society. One of those is the movement of Zionism. So Zionism will play a role in the class that uh, we'll be doing together. Also, you know well that by World War II, the most tragic uh, era in Jewish history, modern Jewish history, was the culmination of the genocide that we call the Holocaust. So the Holocaust is something we also study in this class to a certain degree because it's a complete reversal of the gaining of Jewish rights, a complete reversal of Jewish emancipation. So here are these three important aspects of modern Jewish history will become part of our class. Getting rights, Jewish emancipation, the Holocaust, and also Zionism, which leads to the birth of the modern State of Israel. So those are three important areas that we're going to focus on, and we will focus to a certain extent also on American Jewish history and different kinds of, of religious movements, and that should be able to give us a good basis for understanding the modern Jewish experience. So that's what your class is going to be about in a very general way. And this is an online class, so there may be many of you who are taking this outside of Tucson, Arizona. If you're here in Tucson, Arizona, and you want to meet for any reason, uh, we might be able to organize that. I'd be happy to do that with anyone. But if you are not here, I know we have a number of Chinese students who are in China and taking this class. I have made as many different, if there are different ways that you can contact me, and this is very important, and especially for the foreign students, the Chinese students that are taking the class, uh, I've made, there are, if you cannot for some reason contact me through D2L, I'm going to be sending you my QQ mail, which is the Chinese uh, email, and also there are other ways that we can contact each other. But the QQ mail is something that I'll be sending out uh, in a note to everyone in the class, so that those of you who are taking this class and may be in China can participate if you're not able to get onto the D2L for any reason. So that's important. I know it's really important. Uh, the other thing that I want to impress upon you is that this is a class that goes very quickly. So some of you might be stressed over that. And I certainly I'm not going to say you'll have no stress, but I do want you to enjoy taking the class. I don't want you to feel that it's a headache or it's a burden. So I am open to suggestions of things that you might like to discuss other than what I will be putting up on discussion boards. And I'm very open to any kind of maybe groups that you want to uh, maybe organize. And also, if you are in Tucson and you want to have the experience of going to a synagogue, or you want to have the experience of going to our Jewish History Museum, I would be delighted to organize a field trip for this class, even though it's online. And so these are some things that we can think about. It might be kind of fun to do. Um, Before I sign off from this kind of brief introduction, I want you to, again, to uh, really elaborate, spend maybe 250, 300 words, giving me a really good sense of who you are. What's your major? What are your interests for the future? Where do you come from? Uh, what should I know about you as a professor, and that'll help me understand uh, better you as a college student and also just as a human being, and also why you're really interested in taking Jewish history and how I can make this more interesting for you. Okay, well, I think that's enough of an introduction, and this way you can get to know me and see who I am. And sorry. So I will sign off now and say bye for now.